Aurelia, hello. Hello, hello. Oops. Sound going. Hi, hello, happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well. Yay. Woohoo. One second, I have music going on in the background, but it does not seem like it is picking it up. So pick it up from here. Cha-cha. Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm so glad to hear that, Aurelia. Did your test go well? I made sure to send good vibes, so I hope so. But I'm doing good. Today was a busy day, but it flew by. So I was doing something from start to finish all day. Was it? Oh, I thought I had something in my notes about Tuesday. Maybe not. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm just mixing up my days. You know what? That sounds about right. I feel like I am blown away that we are 20 days into March. Like, I cannot believe it. I realize, like, I forgot to wish my friend a happy birthday on the 8th, and it's like, oh, it feels too late now. Maybe not. I think they would still appreciate if I was like, happy super duper belated birthday. Yeah, so. All right, Aurelia. Well, I guess I was just thinking school, almost midterms, but I guess I'm off about that too. Cause like spring break is usually when like they try and do like quarter terms and midterms and all that kind of stuff, but maybe not. Back in my day. Well, good. I'm glad you're good, one way or another. Okay. Well, let's see. Let me pull open my game. All right, we are going back to 9 rip. All right, last we left off. Let's see. Last we left off, we're in hell. Yeah, you just want June to be here already because your family and you are going to Alaska. That's exciting. June seems like the right time to go, I suppose. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Woohoo. Also looking forward to June for different reasons, but I'm happy for you. Will it be your first time going to Alaska? I've never been. I don't think. Yeah, no, I don't think I've been. Sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, saving up for 2 years. Awesome. Oh, well, I hope it is everything that you hope and dream. I hope that all the things are available to you that you want. Yeah. That's exciting. I've been thinking a lot about the Aurora Borealis. And I thought that, yeah. Although I've heard like Manitoba is where it's at for the Borealis, but I don't know. I just think that'll be very pretty, one way or another. So, okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn my music off so that we can hear the game. Bloop. Okay. All right. Let me try and remember what I've been. Last we left off in the game, we're in hell, very accidentally. Are we still in hell? Yeah, I think so. We're in hell. We're trying to think about our future. And our boyfriendo kind of like gave us his backstory about what happened to him. There was a crazy stalker. And, yeah, I think we're both having dilemmas of like, well, okay, we like each other. Now what? Like, I'm probably going to go back to the world of the living. He's still going to be here in the world of the dead. That seems like a bummer. So, we shall see. I think that's the highlights. Shadow, hello! Hello. It has been a bit, hasn't it? It's good to see you. I hope you're well. No. Got some, yeah, let's see. Did you have to work today? Has it been busy? It's been busy for me. I feel like I've had lots of like periods of like feast or famine where it's just like today was like so busy from start to finish. And then, but then, I had a couple like slow days where it's just like, okay. They still pay me the same. Yeah. You called out on Tuesday. Oh, I'm so sorry that you're fighting a cold. Oh, yeah, and especially coming back after. Yeah, because I remember you shared that you went to the Philippines. So I hope that was really fun. Hope that none of that started while you were there. That it, that you got to enjoy your full time there. But yeah, jet lag, man. I feel like I get harder and harder every single time. My last trip, I was just in poor shape, but my coworker told me about an app, which I wish she had told me like 2 weeks earlier, because then I would have used it. But I know for my next trip, I will be trying out an app called Time Shifter, and basically it helps you kind of like acclimate to wherever you're going. So it'll like send you alerts that it's like, okay, like in order to get you keep you awake for the right times and get you sleepy, it'll be like you need to take a 15 to 30 minute nap, within the next X time, or you need to have something with caffeine, in the next 15 minutes or something like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and she really recommended it. So I'd love to try that out. Yeah. You had a great time. Oh, you can pinpoint the one time you were not next to family on the plane rides back. Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad that you had a great time. That's always wonderful, you know. Um, just because travel's hard, and so it's nice when things go as well as they can, or when you're with a group of people who can be adaptable and that kind of stuff. So it's nice. Yeah. The last few times I've done a little bit of like solo travel, which I like, but there's a couple of like things about it that are a little. I forget about the like logistics of like being a solo traveler, like bathroom logistics of just kind of like, okay, I've got all my luggage with me. It's like, and that stall's only so big. I know they make them bigger at the airport for exactly this reason, but it's still just kind of like just annoying. Like I said, just it's like, well, I don't want to leave it for some rando stranger danger to look after, so I have to lug this, and it's usually not huge. I usually take like a weekender bag. I try to pack light, but yeah, just things like that where it's just like I need to do a short thing, or you know, yeah, or now I gotta like carry like lift all my things by myself and stuff. So yeah, you had your work messenger bag and you absolutely pack ratted it. Nice, nice. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm like usually people look at my luggage situation. They're just like, "Dang, is that enough?" And it's like it's enough because I got to carry it. If I didn't have to carry it, maybe I make different decisions, but but I have, yeah. But although I got a cool weekender bag. It's like, it's got a lot of slots, but it's got this like complete like under section that's a little bit separated, so that's where I put like my shoes, and then I don't have to worry about like shoe germs, touching my toothbrush or anything like that. Just other germs touching my toothbrush. But yeah, it's the right size, and it's even to the point where I'll tell you a sneaky thing that I did. Um, it was like one of the flights that I was on. They were just like, "Hey guys, like this is a full flight," and it's like if you're in like the last boarding group, the likelihood that we'll have enough room for your carry-on is very low. So like you can check it now. And I was just like, nah, but I was in the last group. And so I was just kind of like, should I? And they were just like, if anybody volunteers, you will get to board now. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And so yeah, I went up and I like, they, tagged my luggage, and they were just like, okay, just take it down the runway and then just leave it, like in the little area right in front of the plane. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so I went, and I was like, well, what would happen if I just brought it? You know? Like, I won't take a spot in the carry-ons, but I'll just bring it and see if I can't, like, hide it under my chair. That's fine enough. And so that is what I did. But like I said, I did not take up a carry-on spot that I said I would not, but I did bring my carry-on on. So, but it was under my chair for the most part. But I had a big skirt on, so I just covered the parts that were like poking out with my skirt, and nobody caught me. Yeah. Sorry. I try to live my life pretty, above board and virtuously, but not solely virtuously, but like I try my best to not like pull shenanigans. But this was one that I was just like, I don't want to check. I don't want to check it if I don't really, really have to. And again, I did not take a spot that I said I wouldn't. So my chair is my spot. I paid for it. But well, yeah. Well, I saw something really interesting recently too about airline travel. That it was like there was this like woman who what happened? She bought her seat, right? She bought the seat that she wanted. She paid extra for like, leg room or whatever. And some lady and her kid, she was just like, "Hey, like we weren't able to get our seats together. Do you mind if my daughter sits there and you can have her seat?" Which was not an equivalent exchange. Like, it was like, you want this, like, this roomy, like, either aisle or window seat that you have? How about you take a really cramped middle seat somewhere else? And which is a bummer. Like, I get that sometimes logistics, aren't very, like, things happen, right? And so that was kind of like a bummer, but at the same time, it's like, it's one of those things where it's just like, you have a lot of time to kind of like make arrangements, right? Like, that kid wasn't even anywhere near, the mom. So I feel like it was just like maybe a little bit of poor planning. And so, but she was just like, "Yeah, can you switch?" And she was like, "No." And I get both sides, because it's, like I said, mistakes happen. And especially like, I've had ones where it's just like, well, I thought these two seats were together number wise, but there's like a gap between. So it's like, oh, that's a bummer. But yeah, but like, she didn't even offer any like kind of like, for your trouble, I'll pay you this, or like, because like I said, it is an inconvenience to the person who paid extra for their spot. And, and like I said, this other person just didn't plan well. But yeah, the lady did not end up trading spots with the kid. And it caused a really big stink on the internet. People were pretty divided. It's like, yeah, not your problem. And it's just like, yeah, it's not your problem. But that's like the nice thing to do is like keep, families together. But then, all these people would chime in that it was like, they should have planned better. Hello. Thank you for the boop. The run by boop. Thank you. Hello. I was just rehashing not personal like airline drama, but just a story I heard recently about somebody who wouldn't switch, and then she got a lot of heat on the internet for it. But it's darned if you do, darned if you don't, right? Like I said, I understand both, and like, I think the least you could do if you are like, if you are going to like really put somebody out, no, I won't say put somebody out, but like a little bit of an inconvenience to somebody, like, you should acknowledge that and maybe try and do a make good for them, So yeah. Like I said, wasn't me. I just thought it was a very funny. We were just talking about airline travel in general. So, yay. Okay. Let's get back to Boyfriendos. We are on chapter 8 of Monster Energy. Like I said, last we left off, we're in hell. Not on purpose. Yeah. I'll just tell you, we're prepared to eat people. You still can. Not on my behalf, but with my, with my thumbs up. Sure, go for it. Alrighty. Alrighty. Okay, like I said, we are in hell. And now we're coming to terms with boyfriendo is like, I like her, but she's gonna be going back to the world of the living. So now we gotta like deal with that. Yes, that's right. So yeah, just show like a little like, teacher's note that is just like, I have been given permission by Lolli to eat eat Karens. I mean, are Karens extra yummy because it's satisfying for them to like, stop talking? Or are they still yucky, but it's like, it's like eating really, really healthy food that isn't good. there's healthy food I like, but there's other healthy food that's like, no, I can tell I'm eating very healthy. Carrie! We shouldn't be eating Karens. They aren't worth the effort. Just bite them once hard. Yeah. They taste bad, but look good as plant manure. Wow! I see. It's a life cycle thing. Growing new fun things out of, yeah. Just a kick in the shins to a Karen. Hashtag not all Karens. Just Karen is a concept, not every single Karen as a person. Right, we are in hell. In the game. We are in hell in the game. Are we? Are we alive? Are we home? Oh, we're home. Mom?
もう寝るなら部屋に戻ってっていつも言ってるでしょ。小さい頃からこの癖だけはなかなか治らないんだから。
Sorry. I guess I just felt kind of drained. Craning my neck around the room as I woke, I peered around the spacious living room. There was the TV mounted on the wall, the sofa. From the open kitchen, I saw my mother preparing food. Everything about the room looked familiar. It was as if it was as it should be, and yet, what is it? I can't put my finger on it, but something about this all feels strange. And what was I doing before I fell asleep here? Gently, I touched my throat, and my mother looked over with a bitter smile. Oh yeah, that's right. We got sliced in the throat in the other side, in the realm of the dead. But a technicality, it wasn't that kind of like. It did not kill me. It did not sever my soul. But it caused me to be mute for a moment. Allegedly, we could recover from that. They are unsure, but I mean, metagaming. We're gonna get our voice back.
まあいいわ。あなただって受験勉強で疲れてるんだもの。
Huh?
毎日勉強お疲れ様。明日には頼まれてた過去問買ってくるから待っててね。
Oh, that was a decision that we made too. As far as like, our boyfriendo was just kind of like, hey, like, like, what do you want to do with your life? And it's like, well, not this. And it's like, well, how do you know? And it's like, I don't know how I know. And it's like, well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, why don't you actually look into it? And then if you still decide you don't want to do it, at least you gave it a fair shot. And then you can tell your mom, like, here's what I looked into. Here's what I discovered. Here's why I don't think I'd be a good fit. Blah, blah. It's a sound strategy. Like, yeah, taking real consideration about something. It's okay to still decide it's not for you, but at least you truly considered it, right? Because I think that that's something that people forget sometimes to to give something a fair shake. Yeah, like, it's okay to, it's like, oh, like, I don't want to try blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, why not? It's totally fine to be like, well, I had something, I tried something pretty adjacent to it, and it really kind of gave, it gave me heart palpitations and it didn't end very well. And it looks pretty similar, in terms of like what I would experience. So I just don't think I'd like to. I think that would be fair versus like, I don't know, I just don't like it, Asked to get? What are you talking about? I haven't even decided what school I'm going to.
何言ってるの。昨日願書出してきたんでしょ。ほら、さやかちゃんと一緒に。
It's a dream. Doodaloo, doodaloo. Yesterday?
そうだよ。ひどい。忘れちゃったの。
I hadn't noticed her before. I was stunned to see Sayaka suddenly appear. Why is Sayaka at my house?
やっぱり願書提出するとぐーっと気が引き締まるよね。ついに受験に挑むんだ。絶対正銀に合格するぞーって。
その息その息。二人とも頑張ってね。
Oh, wait a minute. Completely ignoring me, the two merely smiled brightly at each other. Their smiles seemed so unnatural, so eerie. I couldn't help but gulp in response. But Sayaka, that's not... You said you were going to study the occult, right? You found a university that was focusing on paranormal research and...
何それ？オカルトとか本気で言ってる？私たち医学部目指すんだよ。くだらないこと考える暇あったら公式の一つも覚えないと。
No, that's not like Sayaka at all. My discomfort from before began to turn to fear.
あ？何騒いでんだ？
Sis, you gotta listen to me. Mom and Sayaka are acting super weird.
二人が変なのはいつもだろう。
I think it's funny that the sister wears this all the time. That's her going around clothes. She doesn't have at-home clothes. No, it's not like that. It's like we're on completely different pages. All of a sudden, they're talking about me taking entrance exams.
ああ、正銀のこと？
My sister placed her hand on my shoulder and gently squeezed. Her hand was kind, but it also prevented me from leaving.
サンキュー。あんた本当にいい妹だよ。期待を裏切った私の代わりに母さんの願いを叶えてくれるなんて。
Huh?
どうしたの？もう悩んだりしなくていいのよ。心配しなくてもあなたの道はちゃんと私が決めてあげるから。
I don't understand, but I need to stay calm. I thought back on the advice that Koyo gave me, that I had to face the situation. I looked at the three of them smiling wildly, and spoke the words that had been stuck in the back of my throat. I don't hate the idea of going to Seigin, and being a doctor is something to strive for. But I have to choose my own path, and I don't have the knowledge or determination to decide right now. So I'm going to do my research and find the path that's right for me. Suddenly, the three of them stopped moving and looked at me with the color draining from their faces. With almost machine-like movements, they began to open their mouths in unison.
何が不満なの？
Oh no! We're in a cursed dimension.
全部決めてあげるって言ってるのに。
大学も就職も魂を捧げる相手も。
Shadow, yeah. It's like, boo, woo, woo, woo. the word? The one to give your soul to. Dang. Give my soul? Yeah. Yeah, I understand perfectly. I will do. As I heard those words, I looked around the area. Oh, that's right. We were in a we're probably dreaming. We probably fell asleep on the couch, and there's an incubus that we were told to watch, or we were like, we need to watch out for this guy. He's gonna find us in our dreams. Suddenly, everything grew distorted and began to melt away.
かわいそうに。今よりも現実の方が辛いなんてな。
That voice. Although I was frightened by the appearance of the incubus, I was relieved that the previous scene was just a dream. I'm so glad.
そう、夢だ。でも現実とそう変わらないだろう。
That's not.
思い当たる節でもあったか？
That's not true. My sister would never say that, and neither would Sayaka.
まあその二人はお前の味方をしてくれるかもしれない。だが母親はどうだろうね。これまでずっとお前にかけていた母親はお前について回り人生を狂わせる。
That's not.
自信なさげだね。大丈夫？
The sinister sound of his laugh, his words, were so terrible I put my hands over my ears. Wake up from this dream, please.
この悪夢から逃れても無駄だ。だって言っただろう。現実とそう変わらないと。
Even if I get back to the mortal realm, will it really be the same? Is he right about that? But then the words that Seiya told me popped into my head. I had to keep a strong heart. Otherwise, the incubus would win. I glared at the incubus standing in front of me in the darkness. That's not reality. I only believe what I see with my own eyes. The dreams you show me are just illusions. He's got some Pikachu what face right there. My mother's not like how you think she is. The version of my mother you showed me is nothing like her.
そう、まあいいよ、今回は。
With those final words, he left, and the darkness began to clear. My consciousness sunk deeper, and I began to dream my own dreams. Ugh. While shaking off the lingering uneasiness in my chest, I slowly opened my eyes. The scene sprawled out before me was the same office in hell as before. Next to me, Seiya sat in a chair, reading a book.
無事に目覚めたということは、無魔の誘惑に勝てたようですね。苦しそうにしていたので、心配しましたよ。
Not worried enough to intervene, I see.
起こそうかとも思いましたが、自力で振り払えなければ意味がありません。手助けできず、申し訳ありません。
Carrie, yeah, I know. I feel like I was trying to be really good about that for a while. Like, as soon as I woke up, I'd, like, start typing in my, like, memo, like, in my notes on my phone. And I was able to, like, remember a lot of dreams. But I feel like lately, just fog is just, like, I wake up and it's like, I know I was dreaming. I just know it's gone. It's gone forever. I was getting nervous too that it's just like, what if you dream something that it's like, it's so profound and it's like, this is very important, but then you like wake up and you're just like, well, that was the cure and now it's gone. So You mean like you fall asleep and instantly you're waking up again? Oh, I see, Carrie. I see. Yeah, that is like sleep is a little bit of a luxury, you know? I getcha. I've had moments like that too, where it's just like I feel like I blinked and then my alarm was going off, and I was like, no. I gotta figure out what it would take to like live life on my own terms so that I don't have to be woken up by an alarm clock. I just wake up naturally and then I just do my like hood rat things or whatever I want, and then and that's that. You don't even get the I don't remember what the dream was. You just skip through it like it was a movie click. Yeah. The dreams are those ads. It's just like, all right, skip. Water. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, sometimes I'm just kind of like, oh, what if something like really, really important happened in the dream? Yeah. It's probably the microplastics. Oh no. Well, do what you can, where you can, you know. I know it's hard to like completely avoid them, but like, you know, if there's like little choices you could make. Let's see. Let's test a theory. see if you can start like having time to dream. I get that too, though. Sometimes I'm a little bit of like a, what's the term? Burn the candle at both ends, where it's just like, I want to stay up and then wake up early. I sleep when I'm dead. That kind of feeling. No. It's like, oh, want to be upset about that? Do I? I don't know. Sure. Maybe, well, I don't wanna, but like, is there more to know? I'm sure there's plenty more to know. Yeah. The average adult American has enough microplastic in their skull to make a spork. Oh no! Oh, Carrie. I see. Well, we can be productive and make sporks. I did buy some fancy spork. I wouldn't say fancy, but they were like not plastic for sporks. I bought like actual metal sporks, and they're like kind of like this cool, like rainbowy, like kind of like gradient, and I like it a lot, but yeah, I eat it with my Frito pie. That's how I eat my Frito pie. It has to be eaten with a spork. The spork is the right tool. See, there is no natural water on Earth that does not contain some micro. I believe that. Although maybe, maybe. I mean, yeah, I believe that some trace amount for sure. I'm trying to think of like what would the purest like water be, right? I guess it's like at the tippy top of a mountain, maybe. Eating a Frito pie with a spork because one abomination deserves another. Like, Frito pie's not that bad. I don't eat like canned chili. I like make chili, so it's legit. It's legit. You can also make chili mac and cheese if you can't stand Fritos. You've never had one. Oh. It's just a vehicle for your good chili. Basically, you do the bottom layer of Fritos or some kind of like corn chip. It does not have to be Fritos TM. And then you pour your chili on it, and then you pour your chili fixins on it. So if you want to do some shredded cheese, I do a little bit of sour cream with like sour cream that's mixed with lime, kind of makes it a little bit like runnier, and I put that on. I'll cut up some avocados. I'll put that on. Yeah, you could do all sorts of things. That's really good. And like I said, I make chili. I don't get canned chili, so I like it better that way. But yeah, I can understand. Yeah. See, it sounds better. It sounds, because I know exactly. I mean, I remember Frito pie at school lunch, and that always looked like a bad time. And it's the same way I feel about sloppy joes. I have not had a sloppy joe as an adult. Like it left that much of an impression on me that I was like, no, I don't think so. So, yeah, definitely, definitely some are better than others for sure. But like I said, even chili on mac and cheese, that's good stuff. Some people like cornbread. I have not found. I don't think I've found the right cornbread. I know some people are just like cornbread, but I've not found the one that was like, yeah. So your brother's name is Joe. Okay, I see. I hope he does not as a formal protest is just like super neat freak and like almost like to the point of like a compulsive that is just like everything must be clean. Well, maybe not too clean. Not serial killer clean, but just cleaner than than sloppy. Seiya had nothing to apologize for, so I shook my head. The incubus. This time I was strong enough to chase him away, but if this were going to happen every night... Yeah, Carrie, he's a very clean person because he really respects his dad, your stepdad, and stepdad is a Marine. Oh, okay. Oh, I love that. I'm glad... I mean, I think that's nice that, that he has earned his respect and, yeah. Or that he has that level of respect, It's nice. It's nice to have role models. The incubus himself said God's blessing doesn't reach hell. So if I just return to the mortal realm...
あなたは自分が思っているよりもずっと強い人間だと私は思います。二度も悪魔からのささやきを跳ねのけたのですからね。
I tightly clenched my fists. I wouldn't let go of those feelings no matter what. Then Seiya took my hand.
あなたのために祈りましょう。悪魔により汚れを受けた魂が浄化されますように。
Wow, he said that in a really sultry way. I got a prayer in hell. like listen to it.
あなたのために祈りましょう。悪魔により汚れを受けた魂が浄化されますように。
Ooh. It's like, sir. Yeah, I feel like that's the last place you would want that. Yeah. It's like, it's like getting matches at SeaWorld. It's like, all right. Well, maybe SeaWorld. Maybe not a water park. Yeah, getting matches at a water park. It's like that. Actually, have y'all seen the IT Crowd? It's a British comedy TV series. And I think it's on Netflix. But basically, it's about an IT department that's being head up by two very socially inept, men, and they get a new boss who's a schmoozer and a liar, and she somehow gets to be head of IT, and so it's kind of their shenanigans as a department. It's really, really good, and there's a really a funny episode where one of them is dating a girl that he really, really likes, but apparently she has some kind of trauma, tragedy, and she's talking about it. And he's just well, will you tell me about it? And she's just she talks about a fire, and it's oh no, and there's but then she says it's at a sea park, so a Sea World kind of thing, so at first he accepts it, And it's just like, oh, okay. But the more he thinks about it, the more he's just like, that doesn't make any sense. And they like really like, he replays it like with his team and it's just like, it's a fire at a sea park. And they just, yeah. But it's one of those things where like the time has, like, she doesn't want to talk about it again, but he's got so many questions. All's to say, yes, a prayer in hell does not seem like it would have a chance. As he said this, he brought my hand toward his lips. Just as I pulled my hand away from him, Koyo entered the room. Uh-oh. Daddy, did he see that just now?
これはお早いお帰りで。
In my haste to make an excuse, I realized I couldn't explain without my voice.
何この状況。堅穏な表情になるのも当然ですが、彼女へ祈りを捧げようとしていただけです。先ほど彼女は
No! Seiya frowned, stopping mid-sentence when I turned to face him, pleading with my eyes for him to stop talking. Please, I don't want to worry Koyo. He's worried. If he knew I was attacked by an incubus every time I slept in hell, he might insist on taking me back to the mortal realm. But Reika hasn't been caught yet.
実はあなたがそばにいない隙に彼女を誘惑していたのですよ。まあ振られてしまいましたが。
He's making it worse. What? I appreciate him coming up with an excuse, but couldn't he have come up with literally anything else? Koyo narrowed his eyes, stepped forward, grabbed my hand, and wiped it with the hem of his clothes.
変態菌が移る。
What was that? Then Seiya, with a forced smile, offered me a handkerchief.
紅葉さんに掴まれている手を拭いた方がよろしいかと。うじうじといつまでも思い悩む陰鬱とした菌が今まさに付着していますから。
Pouty germ. How Seiya sees Koyo. Maybe because Koyo has the tendency to bottle things up, he calls him that. Pouty germ. I guess they're both committed to going down this road.
えがいつうじうじした？
彼女がこうなってからため息ばかりついているのはどこの誰でしょうか。
Oh, Seiya's the sass master, man.
怪我をさせた罪悪感や心配など思うところがあるのは理解できますが、ならなおさら笑顔を向けるべきでは？
言うじゃん。
Ah, this is bad. It looked like they were going to get into it, and I was right next to them. I've got to get out of here. Without explanation, I leapt off the sofa and got out of there. Just like that. So with that, I left the room and headed down the corridor, looking out a window. Green Yoshi, hi! Hello! I hope you're doing well. Happy Thursday! You have not missed too much. We are in hell. We had a dream, and the incubus tried to lure us away during the dream, but we stood up to him. We still haven't seen his face, but we know who he is. And then the Hell Warder, Seiya / Raphael, was teasing Green Monster Energy, so they were being very competitive. Ooh, look, blood red moon. The sky in hell is so red. There's no sun, moon, or stars. So why does the sky glow that color? Well, I guess logic from the mortal realm doesn't apply here. Speaking of the mortal realm, Senna's face flashed in my mind. I wonder if Senna's okay. After I collapsed the other day, I was told that Senna stayed in the mortal realm. But given that Reika's there too, could it be dangerous? I heard a familiar ring of a smartphone. I looked down to see a message. Lolli, this is Seiya. Where are you right now? So this thing has a message function? It really is just like a regular smartphone. I'm near the central courtyard. I see. In that case, it should be fine. I'm sure you'll be safe from the incubus as long as you stay inside the building. But he may try to attack you outside. Please be careful. The heck? That's right. In the dream, I could only see a shadow. From the way he spoke, I suspect his real body is in hell somewhere.
まさかそれであいつと連絡取ってんの?
Ooh, jealous! Clearly upset, Koyo strode over and began looking at my phone. Then, with a slight hesitation, he let out a sigh.
悪い、こんなんで。
Yeah! Can't control me!
気になっちゃうんだよね。せいやさんとあんたがコソコソしてると。嫉妬してんのかも。かっこ悪い。
You're jealous. Does that mean he likes me?
まあ、あの人って乙女脳で変態だけど、しっかりした人だし。惹かれても不思議じゃない。
I frantically shook my head. I don't feel that way about Seiya at all.
それじゃスマホ見せて。
I don't know about that, man. I still like having my own autonomy here. He seriously cares that much? So I gotta show him the phone, right? I think I gotta show him the phone. That's the right thing. You should tell, if something's worrying you and you spend all this energy because you don't want somebody to worry, it's gonna make them worry more. You might as well tell the truth. Show him the phone. Even if I think it's a lie, I should keep it to myself. That would be better. I don't want there to be any more misunderstandings between us. Energy. That's right, monster energy. As much as I wanted to prioritize my feelings, I was doing this because I cared about him. My hand shook as I offered him the phone. Then, without taking the phone, Koyo gently pushed it back to me.
悪い。試すような真似して。本気で見ようとか思ってないから。
No, I made a big deal about it, man. Huh?
そっか。
As I felt the sensation of his large hand patting me on the head, I breathed a sigh of relief to learn there were no misunderstandings between us. No, wait, no. I don't like that because he doesn't know about the incubus. And by not reading the phone, like, we are still gonna have misunderstandings.
悪い。あんたの気持ち確かめるような真似。
I've heard about these things though. Like boyfriend-girlfriend tests, like that's a thing on the internet. Dumb. I shook my head and Koyo flashed me a bitter smile before opening his mouth.
これからのことを考えなきゃな。
Does he mean after we return to the mortal realm? Being with him, a ghost, could only be possible while I was a living ghost. Glancing at Koyo, our eyes met. Ooh, he's so cute. Yeah, partner testing is the worst. It's a great way to end a relationship. Agreed. Like, in that sense, like, partner testing in that sense is like, good. Thank you for showing me that you're this kind of person. And, makes things easier for me. Is what I'd like to think. I don't know how I would do. I think I would question a lot of things and be so obnoxious that they'd be like, fine, never mind. I don't think it would work, but for the wrong reasons. Because I feel like I'm inquisitive. So if they were just like, hey, because if I like somebody, like, I don't mind doing stuff, but like, it's like, oh, like, I think there was one that was like peel an orange for somebody. It's like, yeah, it's like, I would probably do that anyways. even without being asked, because I like being helpful, and that's, food is like a thing that I, like showing care with. So it's like, yeah, I think that would be fine. But but one of the ones where it's just like drop everything you're doing to like, I think I'd have some beef with that. I'd be like, yeah, because I know there's ones where it's just like ask them for like a glass of water, even though like you're in the middle of something, and they could do it. Because it'd be one thing if like I'm also on my way to get water, maybe that's fine. But like if it's like, hey, I see you're putting together a really complicated IKEA furniture thing, can you get me a glass of water? I'd be like, help me understand. Do you not see me doing, like, being pretty engrossed in a thing? Or is there some reason that you sitting there is more urgent than me doing the thing? Surrounded by perverts, hello! Let's see, you remember an early chapter of the Yu-Gi-Oh manga involved one of those love compatibility tests, and it turned out a teacher was hiding it under his wig until it beeped. Oh no! Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think there are certain things that it's like, you don't have to make it like this grandstanding test. Like it, like I think these are things that you should see well within time, I don't know. Because at a certain point, like those like partner testing things, they almost seem like a power play at a certain point. And I don't want to feel that way. I certainly don't want to feel that way with a partner. But I don't know how I could not feel that way, right? So, I don't know. Those people are for the streets. You know what? That reminds me. I have a friend who, he told me that before, that like his dad told him something along the lines of like, you should, like basically call with an emergency like in the middle of the night, and like show up like panicked or something like that. That way you could see, like he was saying, so that you could see the girl without like what she looks like without makeup or something. I just thought that was like very, very out of touch. I was like, I feel that's a little bit of boy crying wolf. Two, the way somebody does not look with makeup on most of the time doesn't look that drastically different. I don't know. That might not be true. There might be a lot of catfish situations out there, sure. But like, I just feel like naturally you would have a situation where you would naturally see them without makeup on at a certain point, right? I don't know. People are funny. Usually, at times like this, he would look away, but this time was different. He smiled lightly and cocked his head.
そんな顔しないで。俺にも考えくらいあるからさ。
What kind of ideas?
あんたに言わなきゃなんないことはあんだけど。今じゃない気がするから。ちょっと待ってて。
Yeah, let's demolish my stalker so that she can't harm us, and then I can profess my love. You think love compatibility tests can be useful if the how much do you know about your partner can be used to learn about each other? I think that's fair. I think what we were talking about surrounded by perverts is like there's like a social media kind of like phenomenon thing where it's a lot of like ways to test your partner, like not your partner knowledge, but like see how they would handle something, and then they kind of make assertions that like, and like I said, at a certain point some of them feel like a little bit of a power play, and I think one of them is just like, would you still love me if I was a worm? That kind of thing. And like the ideal answer apparently is yes, I would still love you because your heart, your soul is what shines through, and I would not be able to deny it even if you were a worm. But the real, true life, practical, answer is no, because you're a worm. Come on. Yeah, agreed, surrounded by river. That's things like that. But I hear you. Like I don't disagree that there are definitely things that that are ways to build connection, and absolutely 10 out of 10. You know, I do think like some of those like compatibility tests, like if the idea is to start conversation, I definitely find those to be very effective and helpful, because I know that there was like a list of like, I know that there was this like study that came out where it was like how to make strangers like fall in love, and you know, I mean, this was a sexy title, like it was a very clickbait title, but the premise was like you had to make eye contact with the person, like it was a very closed setting, and you know, they had two people make eye contact with each other for I think like 90 seconds, you know, quietly, uninterrupted, and then from there, then there were a series of questions that they would ask each other, and I think that the eye contact part was something that made them be a little like, it kind of like helped create that like space where they could be vulnerable, and feel, yeah. So, and it was interesting because they were saying that by the end of it, a lot of people felt like a lot more connected with the person that they were like talking to. So I thought that was interesting, but that sounds biased against people with ADHD. That's a really great point. I think that you're probably right that inherently it probably is a bit biased against a few different groups. I mean, because I imagine, you know, if I'm thinking that already out the gate it was probably like heteronormative like relationships, and you know, yeah, like a lot of considerations probably weren't made, but I'll have to look for it. I don't know I don't remember the full details. I just remember the general like sense, and so yeah, but I could see that. What does that mean? Koyo continued to look at me, a cheerful look on his face. Sometime later, Koyo said he had some research to do and went off on his own. And so I decided to wander the building looking for Seiya. Ah, there he is. I gingerly tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned around.
ああ、あなたでしたか。私に用事ですか？
After I nodded, I handed him the phone he let me borrow.
紅葉さんに話を知られたくないのなら、内緒で話もしやすくなりますし、持っているべきかと思いますが。
That's right, Green Yoshi. It is Raphael. I took out the notebook from my pocket, jotted a note, and showed it to him. That will only cause more misunderstandings.
そういう話ですか。紅葉さんも案外嫉妬深いようですね。
Seiya gleefully laughed as he spoke before taking the smartphone back.
ちょうど紅葉さんもいないことですし、聞いておきたいことはありますか？
Do you like me? Check yes or no. Upon his prompting, I picked up my pen and began writing out my question. How can I get rid of the incubus completely?
それはなかなか難しいかと。夢の中のあれは不死です。危害を加えても本体には影響ない。ムマ自身が諦めるのを待つしかありません。
Gives up, huh? Filled with despair at his unhelpful words, I wrote down what was on my mind. Will I be free of him if I go back to the mortal realm?
残念ですが、一度でもあれに目をつけられれば、うつしおでも関係ありません。
So that means unless that thing gives up on me, I'll be stuck having my nightmares for the rest of my life? I cast my eyes downward at the depressing news as another employee approached Seiya.
せいやさん、お話中失礼します
That's right. The HO, the ho staff. Can't take a hoe to a hotel. No, that's not. I think that's the line. There's another one. It's like, can't take a hoe to a housewife. So it is a song. Upon hearing the words from his coworker, Seiya glanced at me and quickly bowed his head.
残念ですが、仕事に戻らなければなりません。
I nodded back at him, and Seiya and the other employee walked away from me. After Seiya left, I sat on a bench in the courtyard and thought about the incubus. I remember Sayaka and I watching horror movies with demons in them before. I was pretty sure that in at least one of them, there was an exorcist who fought the demons. Of course, I didn't have the power or knowledge to do that. But having to be scared every time I go to sleep is just too much. I sighed and looked up at a Khalifa flower swaying in the wind. Seiya did say this flower has the power to purify evil. But when I fell asleep, the incubus was still able to attack me. Maybe it would have more of an effect if I attacked him with it directly. Just then, one of the petals fell from the flower and landed directly in my lap. I plucked it up with my hand. I had to try it out. If I didn't do something, that would be the end of it. Maybe I should ask Seiya. He seems really busy, though. Can I really leave the walls of Ho and go confront the demon by myself? I shuddered with fear, but I didn't want to run away. Scary as it may be, I had to face it, both the incubus and my future. Oh yeah, Green Yoshi. So like the incubus is attacking me in my dreams. Apparently, he lives in hell. So he's immortal in the dream realm, but if his body's here in the hell realm, I might stand a chance, trying to like get him to stop if I can harm him here. I guess. Yeah. But TBD if that's really what'll happen. I quickly stood up, my legs shaking. Whoa. So hell has a town. Hell has a town, and so we are a little less safe than we are in like hell head office. I think HO stands for hell office, but I don't know if that's true. We have never been told what HO stands for. Whoa. I stepped outside, and with a gasp of admiration, I took in the sights of the city. When I imagined hell, I envisioned buildings made of human bones and rivers of blood, but it was nothing like that. Much like the building where Seiya worked, hell had the look of an exotic city. Not to mention the loads of people that strode to and fro on the city streets. But at a glance, the city may have looked normal, but the residents weren't at all. Hear me out. Some looked vaguely human, and others had large fangs or a single eye. A few even seemed contorted. The appearance of these creatures was far more chilling than the aesthetic of hell itself. As long as I have the Khalifa flowers, I should be all right. I have to find the incubus. But how would I find him? I've never seen an incubus. I only know that he has 2 horns. And that was the only information I had. I sighed at my lack of forethought. A human-like creature with horns. Can I really find him? The people walking by didn't have horns. Well, some of them did. Some with 1, some with 3, and some with 5. But even if I found someone with 2 horns, that didn't necessarily mean they were the one haunting my dreams. Maybe I should go back.
大丈夫ですか?
Oh, it's him! It's him. We, the audience, know it, but we, the main character, do not. I turned around to see a young man who was flagging me down to talk to him. Oh, he's so cute. And his voice, I like that kind of voice. Ah, he's got 2 horns.
聞いてますか?
God, hello! Hello! Funnily enough, we are in hell in our game, so your presence is appreciated. Please purge, purify. Although we did get a prayer in hell from somebody, so God has arrived. Yes, we are in hell. I hastily nodded back at him. We are meeting. So this is the incubus who is haunting our dreams, but we the main character don't know it. We the audience do know it. So
立ち止まっているからどうしたんだろうって。それで声を。あ、困っていることがないならいいんですけど。
His voice grew increasingly small, so much so that I barely heard the last thing he said. If the souls get purified, then it's purgatory instead of hell. Oh, that's true. That's true. Which circle? It's like 7 circles of hell, right? There's like the one that it's like you're in hell, but only by a technicality. It's because like religion did not exist before this. So like how could you? How could you be religious if it did not exist? So there's like that one circle, and then it goes from there. The horns may be the same, but his demeanor is totally different. Is it even worth asking him about the incubus? No, ask about the incubus. I quickly took out my notepad and began to write. I'm looking for someone. He's got 2 horns, just like you. I stared at him as he read the paper, and then he spoke as though he was thinking.
それ、人じゃないかと。悪魔か、それが妖怪かも。
Hearing him say the word demon made my ears perk up. I'm looking for an incubus. I know he has 2 horns.
僕の知り合いというか、知っています。きっと、その無魔を。
It's me, Mario! I involuntarily leaned forward. Oh, he got you now. He got you now. Look at him. He's so cute.
もしかして教えろって言うんですか?
Does he have like a split personality or something? Or is he luring us in? Look how cute he is. In response to my vigorous nodding, he looked terribly frightened.
ダメですよ。危ないです。彼はとっても危険だし、あなた一人で行くなんて。
I would eat you. Please tell me where he is. I want to meet him. Mario, I always knew I would see you down here. That's where the drain takes you. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And then there's lava.
それなら僕もついていきます。心配だから。
Silly, gullible girl in hell. Gonna follow this stranger danger. I felt greatly reassured when he told me he could come along with me. What? He began walking away and I followed after him. Surrounded by half-decayed buildings, I couldn't help but wonder if anyone actually lived here. I followed the young man as he weaved in between various alleys and back streets. He looked like a small, nervous animal, looking around back and forth. As we reached the end of the alley, He turned around with a smile on his face.
この辺りにそのムマがいます。
Despite what the boy said, there didn't seem to be anyone around.
どこを見てるんですか？いるじゃないですか。お前の目の前に。
Oh no! Not a split personality, just a manipulative person. Surrounded by half-decayed buildings. Yeah. You like your deal better? Yeah. Why not both? I don't know. He might have a perverted look on his face. I'm not sure. He does have an intense look on his face, one way or another. A silent gasp escaped my throat as the young man peered into my face.
まさかまさかお前が直接会いに来るなんてね。
Something about him was familiar. That's the incubus! Well, yeah, he just revealed that. Surprised, I stepped back as the incubus narrowed his eyes and smirked.
ずーっと会いたかったんだよ。ずっと見てきたんだよ。お前がガキの頃からね。でも神に守られていたから近づけなくてさ。
Oh, we still got a god on our side, eh? The fact that he'd been watching me since I was a child sent a chill down my spine. Did he just say protected by a god? Again, a god was being mentioned. I'd previously been told by the spirit board that a god had spirited me away. Could they be the same god? More importantly, however, was what the demon said about the god protecting me since I was a child. The protection didn't work in hell. Then, if I went back to the mortal realm... His heels clicked on the ground as he approached me step by step. With each step he took toward me, I took a step back, keeping the distance between us. There's a wall behind me. Maybe I can use the Khalifa flower if he gets close enough.
お前とこうして目を合わせて会話をして。この時を待っていたからかな。感動しちゃってる。ほら、見て。手なんて震えちゃってるよ。
He wasn't lying. His expression wasn't one of madness, but rather he seemed genuinely happy.
お前の魂は欲しいんだけど、少しくらい遊ぶのもいいかもね。
Saying that, he reached out his hand. Before he could grab me, I thrust the Khalifa flower into his chest. Immediately, I felt an electric shock. With a small burst of energy, the demon stumbled back. It worked! But it didn't seem to be enough to bring him down, just to stagger him. But maybe I should make a run for it. Do it! In a flash, I slipped past him and started to run. Then, I felt someone grab my hand.
逃げるぞ。
Yay! Green monster energy! Koyo!
無理。さっさと逃げる。
あれあれ、紅葉くんじゃない。
As he spoke, the incubus moved in front of me. His eyes suddenly glowed red. Ooh, look at him. He's scary, but look at him.
マジかよ。あいつの目を絶対見るな。
His eyes? Does something happen when they turn red? I was already looking at his eyes, but I felt fine. Perhaps it was because the incubus was looking directly at Koyo.
名前を呼ばれてこっちを見ちゃうなんてどんだけ間抜けなの？助けに来た王子様なのにかっこ悪い。
どうして俺の名前を知ってる？
そんなのこいつをずっと見てたからわかるに決まってんじ
あんたもストーカーかよ。
Ooh, too soon? Too soon, Koyo? Koyo chuckled with a sneer and whispered softly to me.
俺は動けない。だからあんた一人でも行け。
There's no way I could do that. I tried to tell him that as I clasped my hands tightly around his. Bonding buddies, yeah. Maybe we'll set up our stalkers to be with each other. And they can just talk about how obsessed they are with us. Oh my gosh.
互いをかばって思い合っていてなんて気持ち悪いんだろうね。見てるだけでヘドが出るよ。
And then they have stalker babies, and then wait a minute, no.
でも紅葉といたいならお前も死ななきゃだね。
A true devil, pinpointing exactly what to say to break me.
ああ。それはない。
あ？何？今俺がこいつと話してる最中なんだけど。
いや、だって。俺、死んでないし。
What? Oh, is he in a coma? Could we also? Yay! Okay, so we could have a boyfriend. Could we have a boyfriend? So we thought he was dead, and that's why he's in the dead realm. But he's saying he's not dead. So could he be like me, where he's like half in the door, half out the door? This is a Let's see. What?
その通り。彼は生き量です。
He's like us! He's a living ghost like us! We can both go to the mortal realm! You guys! Woohoo! The chains cut their way across the ground. Oh, are we gonna get a happier ending on this one than the red guy? Oh. Yeah, is he in a coma? Yay! It does sound bad out of context, you're right. Dodging them at the last moment, the incubus stared straight behind us. Yeah, we finally caught him. Gotta catch 'em all, dead boyfriends!
ムマと聞いてからお前ではないかと疑っていましたが、予想は的中していたようですね、南。
Yes, truly trauma bonding. Minami.
せいや、邪魔するな。
The tension.
そのように瞳をきらめかせても私には無意味。お前が焦っているなんて珍しいこともある。
He likes
彼
me.
女がお気に入りのようですね。
He then took out a Khalifa flower and approached Koyo. A puff of black smoke burst out of Koyo's body, and he blinked.
行きなさい。南が相手となれば私もかばう余裕がない。大通りに出るまで走りなさい。その後、人混みに紛れて HO に戻るのです。
くそ、行かせ。
As the incubus started to dash, Seiya's chains halted him, giving us a chance to escape.
せいやさん、サンキュー。
I took Koyo's hand, and the two of us ran away as fast as we could. Woo! Half ghost boyfriend. When we finally arrived at a large street full of people, Koyo and I exhaled together.
ああ、ビビった。さすがに悪魔はないわ。平気、大丈夫。どこも何もされてない。
The blood moon rises once again. When I nodded back at him, Koyo flashed me a relieved smile.
よかった。ならこのまま人の流れに沿っていこう。
He started to walk, but I only stood there and tilted my head.
何ぼさっとしてんの？まさか精神的になんかされた？
No, that's not it. I quickly shook my head.
ならどうしたの？
Koyo tilted his head and I... Are you really alive? Yeah, that's kind of the... That's the million-dollar question, man. After letting go of his hand, I began to write in my notebook. Koyo, are you really alive? The silence was brutal. Why won't he just answer me? Then Koyo slowly began to speak.
なんつうか、俺の方もいろいろと事情があってさ。
Koyo stopped speaking before carefully glancing around.
歩きながら話そう。さっきのが追ってきたら厄介だし。
I nodded and took his hand as we started walking. Through our intertwined hands, it was as though we were saying we never wanted to be parted again. Just by merely holding hands, I could feel his anxiety. It made my heart race.
あんたが見た悪夢のこと、ある程度聖夜さんから聞いてる。あの人も最初は渋ってたけど、あんたがいなくなったって伝えたら、心当たりあるって説明してくれたんだ。気づいてやれなくて。ごめん。
Why is Koyo apologizing?
麗華のことで手一杯だからって心配して黙っててくれたんだよね。
That's fair.
実際そう思われても仕方ない。あんたの様子がおかしかったのに気づくこともできなかったし、せめてあんたが眠るときそばにいてやればよかった。
Koyo turned his gaze away from me, and I kept shaking my head over and over. That simply wasn't the case. Koyo hadn't done anything wrong. The real issue was that I was the one who failed to trust him. I kept everything inside.
これじゃあんたを置いていけないな。あんなのに狙われてるとか心配すぎる。
What does that mean? Koyo paused for a moment before letting out a big sigh.
実は聖夜さんから麗華の情報を聞いたんだ。あいつは今うつしおでナイフを手に霊を見つけては切りつけてるらしい。切り裂き魔っていうか。
Oh no! Oh no! She's gonna hurt Senna! Serial ghost slasher? That's not cool.
俺が聖夜さんに借りてあんたを傷つけた。
It's because we left the knife. We should have known, guys. You shouldn't have just left something like that on the ground. Dumb.
あの時俺はナイフを地面に落としちゃってさ。聖夜さんが駆けつけた時には麗華と一緒にナイフもなくなってたらしい。だからあの時のどさくさに紛れてあいつが持ち去ったんじゃないかって。
Yeah, not cool, not cool.
それ聞いた時セナが浮かんでさ。俺に関係してる死者の中で麗華なら俺を呼び出す方法として狙いかねない。
In fact, Reika had made contact with Senna before. And Kureha too.
あいつのことだし今試し切りでもしながら作戦練ってるんじゃないかな。
Hearing all this, I felt the color drain from my face.
当然聖夜さんもそれは把握しててセナに職員を貼り付けてくれてるけど絶対安全とは言い切れない。
Although Kureha has a sword, so he might be able to muck her up. But Yui's in danger. I gently tugged on his arm. We should go right away. I wasn't sure if he got my message, but he smiled back at me.
あんたをここに置いていくのが守ることだと思ってたけどあんなのがいるんじゃ無理だな。
He spoke with a serious look on his face.
あんたのこと絶対に守る。だから俺と一緒にうつしおへ帰ろう。一番安全なのはあんたが今すぐ目覚めてくれることなんだけど麗華もさすがに生きた人間には手を出せないだろうし。
I don't know about that. Then I remembered something and took out my pen and notepad. Koyo, you're a living ghost, right? Why are you looking like that? Koyo moaned and then awkwardly scratched his head.
全部が落ち着いてから言おうと思ってたんだけど
Tell me now.
悪魔から横やり入ったら言わずにいられなくて。
Why did he keep quiet about it? I moved my mouth silently and lightly thumped his chest with my hand.
何言ってるかわかんないけど怒ってんのだけはわかる。 俺も最近知ってびっくりしたばっかなんだよね。せいやさんに初めて会った日、あんたぶっ倒れたじゃん。その後に言われた。さっさと目覚めてくれればレイカも諦めるって。なんでもあの火事で運よく生き残ってたらしくてさ。
We're in the same
Yeah,
hospital.
we're in the
Aww.
あんた
Tears of joy threatened to spill from my eyes. I'm so glad that that you're alive.
でも俺はセナの成仏を見届けたい。だからあんたは俺よりも一足先に目覚めて。
Oh, that's sweet. He wants Senna to cross over. Oh, that was a good friend.
それにこういうのもなんだけどさ、あんたが生き返ってくれた方が俺も自由に動けるし。
I know Koyo's right. I wanted to be by his side to support him, but that wasn't all. I gripped the pen and started writing again. I'll be lonely without you, Koyo, so I want you to find me when you come back to life. And our grandmothers were hospital roommates. Yeah. When I finished writing, I showed it to him, and he gave me a sad smile.
当たり前。あんたは俺の拾い物なんだから。一度手に入れたもんは手放さない。
Finders keepers. Oh, that's cute. Did anybody watch the old Casper movie with Christina Ricci and Devon Sawa? Because in the movie, he goes, "Can I keep you?" Or she says it first when he's a ghost, and then he gets turned into a real boy at the end for like her school dance or something. And the way that she finds out that it's him is he comes up to her and he goes, "Can I keep you?" I was like, ah. Anyways. Finders keepers, huh? That brings back memories.
ありがとう。
It really did.
待っていて。
Ooh, all right. Well, y'all. Okay, that was chapter 8. Chapter 9 is the last chapter. We will not finish it tonight, but we will come back and we'll finish it next week. Next week we will conclude Monster Energy. Woo! Yay. You feel like you've seen a single clip of something from that movie, but otherwise... yeah. It's old. Like I said, it's an old movie. But, Yay! Yay! No, thank you for coming. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm so excited. Oh, we're gonna get a boyfriendo in the real... Maybe. Well, it depends. I don't know if we're gonna get, like, another, like... sad, like, bittersweet one where it's just kind of like, you know, maybe he crosses over with Senna and it's just like, okay, well, I will wait for you. Like the other guy, and it's like, no. But we'll see. I mean, this has the potential for us to make it happen. I wonder if he's hesitant to, like, you know, be excited because he's like, oh, I'm all burned up. Maybe you won't like me if I'm, you know, extra crispy or something. And it's like, nah, it's fine. So I don't know. But anyways, thank y'all so much for hanging out. I hope you have a good rest of your night. I'll hope to see you again soon. My next stream is actually tomorrow on Iriam. I will be doing Study Buddies Japanese. And then my next stream after that will be Saturday. I'm going to do a nighttime stream. We'll see how that goes. I'm playing around with different times. See when my energy peaks and stuff like that. So, but anyways, yes. Night. I'll hope to see y'all soon. Okay. Bye-bye.